What is the name?
Well, it's just a spin, and I guess we're getting ready to go live.
Come on, technology, don't do this to us.
Hey, it's okay. Whatever happens, we're good.
Look up something while that's happening, real quick.
Oh my goodness, come on. What is going on here? Okay, looks like we are live. Welcome,
All
everybody.
right.
We're going to introduce and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
Hey, here we are, another episode here at Business Card Radio with Margo Lovett. Welcome back, everybody. Today, I have a special guest, Roxanne Epperson, Roxanne Elizabeth Epperson. She is an author. You know, I always tell people that this show, Business Card Radio with Margo Lovett, is a platform that was built for the authors, for the entrepreneurs, for the coaches that really are working out of that self-development industry, which is really quite large. So I thank you for joining me today, Roxanne. She is, oh, how could I forget? Roxanne is also a podcaster.
Hey. Thanks to you.
Well,
We'll
we'll
talk
get to
about
that.
that later.
Well, maybe what I want people to know today is that you are the author of Unhealthy Relationships. Let's Stop the Madness. We are going to talk about this thing of domestic violence. And I told people that they really don't know what that's all about. And you are going to open this up. So I'm wondering, and I have to ask the question of those who are listening, how many of you all have been a part of domestic violence? I know it came my way, and wow, that thing haunted me years on down the road when I thought I had put it all away. I was certain that was all behind me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. As they say, a trigger, something triggered all of that. And I could not put any of that genie back into the box.
Mm.
And it's probably a good thing because had I done that, I wouldn't be here podcasting today. So all good things do come out in the end. So Roxanne, we're
Yes, ma'am.
talking welcome, and we are talking about domestic violence. So tell people who you are real quick, and then we're going to dive into the meat of this matter.
Okay. Well, real quick, I am as a one who has experienced domestic violence and sexual violence from the age of 6 through maybe 35. I am now, as a result of that, an author, a podcaster, and an entrepreneur with products and services that focus all on healthy relationships, healthy lifestyles, getting your life back on track after surviving such traumatic events. So that's who I am today. I'm the healing lady.
I love that. And don't we all need some healing one way or another? So, in a nutshell, your book, it's for who did you write the book for? Let's just be specific so that we're not skirting around the rim on this thing.
Yeah, the book is twofold. It's the subtitle of it is a guide for those in unhealthy relationships and for those who want to help them. So it's really a teaching tool. I want those who have experienced domestic violence to learn the dynamics, learn what they can do to avoid unhealthy relationships, and for those who are working service providers to use this book as a guide to teach their clients and program participants about domestic violence.
That seems to be pretty important because everybody's talking about domestic violence, especially since so many of us been in, close quarters
Yeah,
during the pandemic and still even now. So a lot of people are talking about domestic violence, but they've never been through it. And unless you've been through it, you really don't know. Is that correct?
that's correct. And it's also true that some people have been through it and don't recognize it because he or she may not hit you physically. And a lot of people think of domestic violence as just a physical event when it's not. I experienced that at a conference once at my church, and people was coming up to me afterwards saying, "Oh, I've been through that. I've been through that." And this one woman looked at me, I've never been through it, and I don't know anyone who has. I'm like, "Oh, God bless you." And I'm so happy that that is your world, but I don't believe it. Because, I think she was in denial, but that's okay. Hopefully
Yeah.
she was listening and heard something at the conference.
Well, that's pretty interesting. And that's what I wanted to propose to everybody is that you do open up that other side of domestic violence. It's the verbal, it's not the hitting and slapping, the pushing and the kicking necessarily. It's what's said that can be very damaging. So that's the other side of all of this. So now when we take a look at your book, take us into 3 points. What are three different ways that three different points that you bring out to your book in your book so that we can get a better handle on domestic violence?
Uh, your sound went out.
Oh,
I didn't.
how is that? How is that better?
Hmm. Hmm.
That better? Okay.
Yes,
All right.
I heard.
All right.
I heard
Yeah,
you.
I hear some humming in the background. I don't know what that is. Listen, can you put on some headphones? Wait a minute. This is or earbuds?
Actually, I can. So I will. Hold on. I'll be right back. Sorry, audience.
Hey, sometimes this comes up, audience. Sometimes this comes up. But when you come on Business Card Radio, I with Margo Lovett, I want everybody to just shine and be their best. And we ran into some technical problems just even getting on, so sometimes when you get the echo and you get all these other things going on, it's welcome to the world of technology. That's all that it is. So and it happens to everybody. Don't let anybody fool you. It happens to everybody. So, and this is one
Okay.
thing that we always oh yeah, I'm sure we're going to be okay now. Now we were getting around to those 3 points, those three things that you have listed in your book, at least three things you've extracted so that we can really get a better grasp of domestic violence and those that we know who can help. We know somebody who's in that situation. Three things that we can use to help them, or if we're in that situation, to help ourselves. That's what I'm trying to ask.
The number one thing I strongly suggest is therapy. Now, I know in the communities of color, we tend to not, there's still a little taboo about that, or people might say, I'm not crazy. It has nothing to do with crazy. Actually, you're very courageous if you step out there and go get therapy. It's not an ugly word anymore. We're hearing about it all with the athletes and everybody's take care of your mental health. That's part of taking care of your mental health. So therapy is my first point. And loving yourself is critical. Critical. I truly believe if one loves themselves, they will. Not saying you might not get into an abusive relationship, but you will get out of it quickly, and you'll know that you'll know how to not accept some of the bull crap because you're loving yourself. You're not taking that. So that's the other thing. And for everybody, I'd like for people to not judge people who stay in abusive relationships because they stay for a reason. They're not, and you'll hear somebody. I've heard people say, "Oh, she likes it. She likes that." No, she doesn't. There are multiple reasons why people stay in abusive relationships. I had a lady tell me at a workshop once, "I have 6 children and no job. Where am I going?" And that's because she didn't know the resources that are available to her. And there's a multitude of resources now. You do not have to stay in that relationship. There's plenty of help for you out there. So yeah, so those are my three things: therapy, loving yourself, and for us, everybody else, to not judge somebody. Can you imagine somebody's? There's one story that this young lady was on Oprah. Now this man had threatened to kill her mother, and he ended up doing that. He shot her. He killed her mother, and he shot half of her face off. Okay, so it's a horrible story. As a matter of fact, I would love to have her come speak to my group one day because she survived it, you know. But yeah, so we don't know. She might have stayed because he was threatening her mother, you know.
Yeah.
So there's all kind of reasons. So and if someone doesn't have any income, they don't know how to take care of 6 babies by themselves.
It's scary.
But there are resources out there. So don't let that stop you from leaving, ladies or gents, because we do know that domestic violence is not just towards women. It's just that women are more highly affected than men.
Gotcha.
And it also and of course it happens in same-sex relationships as well.
Told you guys she was going to come and really open this thing up concerning domestic violence, what it's all about, what it looks like, what it feels like. So really, this is a story of identifying a problem, identifying a situation. Your book, Unhealthy Relationships, Let's Stop the Madness. It's really a story of identifying what's really going on, an opportunity to be honest. What other action words can we use to describe what your book is all about? Because it's so rich and revealing and telling.
Well, let me first say that it's based on a model from Duluth called the power and control wheel. And the power and control wheel, let me turn to page 32. It has, it's like a pie, and it has different spokes on it. And so what we did was we broke down, for example, the first spoke is using intimidation, using emotional abuse, using isolation, minimizing, denying, and blaming, using children, using male privilege, using economic abuse, and using coercion and threats. Each one of these chapters is based on one of those spokes. Wow. Okay. And it's all about the power and control. And the first chapter is called Walking on Eggshells.
Boy.
I love my titles because one of my friends, she saw the draft and I wasn't even finished yet. And one of my titles is chapters is playing footsies. And she's like, I know, that's what she said. Oh, she said, I want to read that one. And I'll just share with you guys, that one had to do with isolation. We're at a friend's house at a party. Everybody's on the balcony, in the kitchen. You know how we do, all different rooms, sitting on the floor. So when we get home, he tells me that one of my friends was playing footsies with him.
Really?
I'm like, I couldn't even, I rolled my eyes. I think I wrote that in the book. I just rolled my eyes at him because I'm like, she got a good man. She don't want you. There's no way. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of you. She does not want you. Okay. So he was trying to separate me from my family and friends. And it wasn't the first time he did that. And that's one of the tactics that they use for isolation, isolating you. Yeah. So my book is really based on parts of my story, parts of my program participants' stories, and some evidence-based research all intertwined. And there's some activities in there as well.
Gotcha. Do you have a copy of your book present there with you?
Ma'am.
Okay. I love that cover.
Thank you.
I really do. I love that.
Thank you.
Wow. What at the end of the book, what are readers able to do?
What are they able to do?
Yes.
Hopefully they will learn how to love themselves. That's my main thing. And they will learn how to begin the healing process. because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the book talks about the healing process and different things that people can do to foster that. And that's my main mission is to help a minimum of 1 million women globally heal from this nonsense. That's my mission. So this book is on the facts of unhealthy relationships, and the next one will be the sister book on healthy relationships. And it's called Healthy Relationships, There Is Such a Thing. And the reason I called it that is because we did a workshop. I used to do workshops at McGee Women's Hospital here in Pittsburgh. And every year we did a workshop called Healthy Relationships, There Is Such a Thing. And we did a survey, and just a simple yes or no. Do you think there is such a thing? No, no. And there was people who didn't believe that there was such a thing as a healthy relationship.
Oh,
And
wow.
I wanted to dispel that myth because that is not true. I know so many people who are in healthy relationships, and we could talk about that later on, how you can listen to some of their stories on my
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh,
Shameless
wow.
plug.
No, no shameless. We were going to circle on over there. That's the
Yeah.
next thing. I wanted to make sure that first, before we move into the podcast, tell people
hmm
how and where they can purchase your book.
Amazon.com. And it's unhealthy relationships. Let's stop the madness. A guide for
Mhm.
those in unhealthy relationships and for those who want to help them.
Got you. Got
Yeah.
you. And
hmm
let me see if I can get this. This is where this info at healingheartsandminds.com is where they can reach out to you.
No, actually, it's almost there. It's info at Healing Hearts and Minds Publishing.com.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Okay.
okay. That's okay.
Margo Lovett. Yeah, you messed that up. You left
that
out publishing.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah,
Let
I
me
would
see whether or not I can fix that.
yeah.
Let me see if I can fix that. So while I'm
Yeah.
fixing this, will you go ahead and tell us so they can find your book over on Amazon?
hmm
And fixing this, take everybody over to your to your podcast, your new
So
podcast. What's that all about?
so the podcast is basically the same premise as the book, and we want to encourage healthy relationships. So the podcast is called The Healing Space Live and Online Chats with Roxanne and Rhonda, and we started it back in April, and we were blessed to be taught how to start a podcast through this young lady named Margo Lovett. So we were happy to go through her training, and now we're still learning, and I think we just recorded episode 16. So yeah, so we're real tickled. And my colleague and friend and sister friend, she was so tickled when she found out that we were on Pandora.
Oh
And
yeah.
so wait a minute, I got as tickled when I found out we was on Audible because we didn't apply to Audible. So I don't even know how we got there, but I checked and there we are. So yeah, so we're excited about that. So the first episode we started off with self-esteem and basically self-esteem and self-care. That was our first episode. Then we
Mhm.
interviewed healthy couples. So we have two couples that we interviewed, and we share this on audio and YouTube on our YouTube channel. So I was grinning basically the whole time that the couple was talking because they were just cracking me up. They were just so cute and transparent and the whole
Uh-huh.
shebang. So that was good. So, and we're planning on interviewing more healthy couples, and probably not probably, we'll turn that into content, like little clips and stuff, so we can start feeding that out to the world, little quotes that they may have said that or just was powerful, and we just feel like the world needs to hear them even beyond hearing it on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow.
I
What
really
is
appreciate. I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just going to say, tell everybody the name of the podcast because wait a minute, you and Rhonda are global now, so they can find you on every major platform. Give
Yes,
us the name
yes.
of your podcast once again.
It's called The Healing Space Live and Online Chats with Roxanne and Rhonda. And you could, of course, you can find them on our website at warheals.org, and that's WAARHEALS.org. Or you can, this is a little long, but just say the Healing Space Live and Online dot buzzsprout.com. And then all of the audio files are there. And then, of course, on our YouTube channel, which is War Heals, they could watch our watch our growth, because we are hilarious to me, because you'll see it when you'll see our growth. And as a matter of fact, we did on the last Thursday of the month, we do a live panel discussion, and it's not been well attended. And I started to just make the last one audio because it wasn't well attended, and you didn't want people to see, oh, you only had a few people. And one of the guests said, no, leave it as is. You only have a few, so what? So then you're going to come back next year and look at the growth. I'm like, good point. So, but we're having a ball. I'm really enjoying this. This is one of the blessings of the pandemic.
I got you. And you know what? Whoever put that bug in your ear, don't let numbers dictate to you. Never, ever, ever, never. You haven't even been podcasting for a year. You're very new in this space. So don't let the numbers of I don't care if one person shows up. I don't care if nobody shows up, because the fact of the matter is you guys are podcasting. You've done more than a lot of people have done, and you've gone past the dreaded 8. Sorry, this motorcycle keeps going back and forth here,
Yeah, I hear it. Yes,
you've gone past the dreaded 8. A lot of people started podcasting and then they didn't get past 8 episodes. So you ladies have gone on. Oh, but you know how much work goes into podcasting, the thought, the planning, that type of thing. And it's something that you end up loving. It's something that you can't not do it. So I applaud you and Rhonda. I love you guys for hanging in there and doing it. So don't let numbers ever dictate anything. I wouldn't do this if I looked at the numbers,
Yeah.
You look at the opportunities that come and you say that this is growing organically. And if I don't keep going, then it can't grow. If I stop right now, it can't grow. But if I keep going, the lady that advised you, she was right. This time next year, man, 2-3 years. Oh my God. You can't even believe it.
I already said in 2-3 years, we'll be in a real studio. We might not look like the Breakfast Club, but we'll be pretty close to it.
Well, you have the vision. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
you have the vision.
Wow. I dream big.
Why not? Why not? Wait a minute. I'm a baby boomer and I'm not dreaming small anymore. No, that's why this platform is here. It's here for people to sell their product, their book, their product, their course. We can shamelessly do and let the world know what we do. So I'm here with Roxanne Epperson, Roxanne Elizabeth Epperson, Unhealthy Relationships. Let's Stop the Madness. Roxanne, put your book up one more time, please.
And also, you need to just keep listening out for our online courses that'll be coming out soon as well, this fall. Yeah.
This fall. You'll be announcing them on your podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Okay. Yes. I have to get to what I haven't done yet, everybody. You have to start doing lives. I haven't done that yet. We're strongly encouraged to start doing the lives. And I will get to that at some point, definitely for marketing of the books in the online school. So we'll be doing that as well.
Well, I venture to say that you grow into that because, you had a lot on your plate learning podcasting. You got the mechanics, you built it. You built it from the ground up the way you and Rhonda envisioned it. And that is quite noteworthy. So give yourself a pat on the back, continue to celebrate, and you are going to go ahead and do lives when you're ready, when it's time.
Yes, I will.
That is it. So, all right. Any parting? I'm looking at the time. Any parting thoughts for us concerning your book, Domestic Violence?
Just know that anybody who has experienced it, you can and will get through it. I had a young lady thought that she would feel devastated the rest of her life. I'm like, no, my goal is you're going to feel some kind of way. I felt some kind of way for about 5 years. And my goal was to help people cut that. I just came up with a number, and half the time, what I don't want you feeling like this forever. I know people who've been feeling like this for 30, 40 years. That's just too much. I can't take it. I want this pain to stop.
Yes.
So I want you guys to learn how to love yourselves. That's just number one. And if you're, like I said, if you're going through it, please seek therapy. Call somebody you could talk to. Do not go through this alone, because there is help for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can I add one thing? Do
Yes, ma'am.
not think that you can just bury it and it'll just go in the back of your mind someplace and it'll never surface, because I wouldn't count on that. I would count on it coming on back out, and it's something that you're going to have to really pay attention to and deal with.
And for me, it came back out in the form of me not really wanting to have a relationship. And it's like, okay, and I know how to have a healthy relationship, but I'm like, do I really, really want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just say this real quick. I put myself back in therapy a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Because I dealt with the domestic violence, but I've never dealt with the sexual violence. So I decided to go to therapy for the sexual violence. And she asked me, what did I want out of it? And I'm like, well, I really don't know. I said, I don't even know if I really need to be here, because I've been using my program as for therapy. Helping others has been therapeutic for me. And then we finally came up with the fact that I don't want a relationship. And she said, well, let's start there. She said, start dating. And she wants me to do some online dating. I'm like, all right, but I ain't got time. I ain't got time to be chit-chat with nobody online right now. I'm trying to do me and grow my business. I don't know, Margo.
Well,
But
whatever you do, it's going to be a step that is going to help your clients. That I do know. Whatever you decide to do, because it seems like when we get into this space of podcasting, when we find our voice and we we connect our podcast with our life work, it always has a way of playing off of each other. And the people that we come in contact with, they always benefit because we went through it, or we invested in it, or we did this, or we did that. So it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
And I thank you
Roxanne.
again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is what Business Card Radio with Margo Lovett is all about. Chance to come on, talk about your book, let people know what it's all about, and sell that book, sell copies of it, let people know where they can find it, and then whatever else you're doing. And that is podcasting. Find you on all of the major platforms. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roxanne. I'm going to move you out of the studio right now. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a few words that I want to go ahead and let me get this over here to you. You know, I'm always talking about, hey, podcasters. That's the next thing. Now, we heard from Roxanne. Now you have a better idea about how Business Card Radio with Margo Lovett works. Okay, I told you that I bring on the authors, the authors, the coaches, those that have content from the self-development field, and they really want to sell. You come on this show, Business Card Radio with Margo Lovett, you want to sell. So what does Hey Podcasters have to do with any of this? Hey Podcasters is an opportunity for podcasters all over the world, male, female, the novice, and the seasoned. All of us, we have carried the world through this pandemic. And I just keep knowing that it's time for us to celebrate. We are really media. And if we don't celebrate ourselves, who will? Now, all of September, I think it's the 24th of September. That's the official day of celebration for all podcasters. But I feel as though we have come the long haul and we deserve a whole month of celebration. So that's where Hey Podcasters comes in. You see the ticker at the bottom, heypodcasters.com. If you are a podcaster, male, female, seasoned, or a novice, I want you to get in contact with me. Go over to heypodcasters.com and learn about this month-long celebration. I'm doing this in collaboration with Womel, which is a magazine and for small business owners. And maybe some of you have seen this magazine. We put this out, well, she put it out in March, and she couldn't, this was a complete sellout. You know why? Because we got together and we gave big ups to 25 women, and there were articles written about these women. Let me open it up. Articles, pictures, we did podcasts. We did, oh my God, we did that for the whole month of March. There was networking. The only thing we didn't do was have a cocktail party at the end. But so we're coming back to do the same thing for podcasters all of September. Is there a price? Yeah, there is, because this magazine is pulling out all the stops, all the stops. There are feature articles. She's pulling in people to write these articles so that you guys shine. On Hey Podcasters, that's going to be the Mecca. And that's where I want you to, if you say you're going to celebrate with us, I want you to be able to send in a 20-minute presentation. Let everybody know who you are, what your podcast is all about. Send that on over MP4. We're going to upload that on heypodcasters.com. And since that's where everybody's going to meet up, when they come for one person, they're going to come and discover you also. Panel discussions, magazine articles and features. Going to have some special speakers. We're not doing it like the normal summits do. Inviting on some people who give us tips on SEO, and some people that come in, they've been on in podcasting realm for years and years. What does it look like? So we're not going to have those day long and night long summits. We're just going to have conversations that are going to cause you to grow. You can cross pollinate. I could go on and on. Everything's over there at heypodcasters.com. We only have room for 50 people because, you can only do so many interviews. You can only have so many people on a platform, and everybody out of these 50, all 50 folks deserve to be celebrated. The whole world needs to be celebrated, the world of podcasters. But if you say yes and you come on board with us for a whole month, you're going to be celebrated. Media is going to be on you. And I have a special surprise. I mean, also in collaboration with a newspaper here in Southern California. I'll tell you more about that. When you said you're not going to celebrate without me, hey, podcasters, I'm in. Okay. So go over, take a look. You can't wait until September now, because September, we want to have all of the presentations. What you send over to us, we want to have that uploaded to heypodcasters.com. We want to have our list and pairing for the panel discussions. And these live streams, oh my goodness, we're just going to be rocking these live streams over on Facebook, LinkedIn, on YouTube. All right. So I could go on and on and on. We're going to have an award ceremony. We are going to give away gifts. It's time for us to celebrate podcasting. You just heard Roxanne. She hasn't been podcasting for 6 months, not even a year, but they're already up to episode 18. That is noteworthy. That calls for celebration. Who's going to celebrate? They can come on and celebrate with all of us. Celebrate worldwide. That's what Hey Podcasters is all about. Now, why does that have something to do with what I'm doing today? Because if you have an event, you have something special coming on, then you can come on over to Business Card Radio with Margo Lovett, and you can talk it up just the way I did. Heypodcasters.com. All right. That's it for me today. I'm 3 minutes over, but it's been so fun. Thank you, Roxanne Elizabeth Epperson. And, go over to Amazon and get her a copy of her book, Unhealthy Relationships. Let's Stop the Madness. I can't agree more with a whole heart. I agree with a whole heart. All right. I'll be back next week. We're going to have another guest. I think she's I'm going to have to verify it. I don't want to butcher the title of her book, but we're going to have another guest next week on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So I'm Margo Lovett. I'm out of here. Let me get my brand thing up here. I'm out of here. And if you want to DM me with any questions, comments, do feel free to do so. I hope you left comments over on Facebook. I promise I'll get over there and I will answer each and every one. All right. I'll be back next week, 4 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.